We're gonna go for All right, old school Texas Tech. How you doing, man?
Good. It's been a while since we've done one of these, huh?
It has, but there's gonna be a lot more coming in the near future.
It's good to
How's
be back.
everything?
Good to be back.
How's everything in Dallas, North America?
It's the summer inferno, dude.
What's the temp up there?
It was like 90 something today. It's not as bad as it usually is. That hurricane that hit Houston. So a little bit of stuff came up this way, but not much. So prayers to all of our Houston people for sure,
Yeah,
because they got hit pretty hard the last couple of days.
that hurricane actually started down here, it in the Caribbean, north of where I am in Colombia. So we actually got some thunderstorms from it too. Believe it or not, it's a small world, but I wouldn't want to paint it.
Yeah,
All right. Have you sold some real estate lately?
yeah, it's been a good year. It's a
Good.
kind of a weird market, but high interest rates, now inventories picking up significantly. I saw a report earlier that said that it's the highest inventory level in about 10 years. It just didn't really specify whether that was nationwide or just around us. So we're seeing
Yeah.
it. It's the economy. We'll save that for another day. But people are strapped, and a lot of people are tapping into home equity to make ends meet.
You said it's
That's
the highest inventory in a long time?
Yes, highest in 10 years. I think it actually said 12, but I'm going to try to verify that.
Interesting. I
Yeah.
haven't been following it. Interesting. Well, I'm glad everything's going well. I thought we'd just meet tonight. This is just a preliminary off the cuff prediction. I'll let you go first. I'll walk you through the games, and then you can kind of just chime in and what you think is going to happen. We both make it clear. I have not spent that. I looked at the depth chart. I have not studied these teams as much as I will before the season starts. I figure we'll do at least one more of these, probably two more, maybe one in a few weeks and then one when we get closer to August 31st. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But it's an interesting schedule, but we'll kind of just get right into it. And take take as much time as you want on each of these games. First game, August 31st, Abilene Christian in Lubbock. They've got our former defensive coordinator that was under Wells, and I thought he coached a good game. I thought his finest moment for Tech is when he held rest in peace when he held the Mike Leach offense with Mississippi State kind of in check in that Liberty Bowl. I think is it Patterson's his last name?
It is. I forgot he was an Abilene Christian.
Yeah,
Completely
he's a head
forgot.
coach. He's a head coach there now, so I'm happy for him. What do you think's gonna happen in that game, just without studying their roster or anything?
A 50 to nothing Abilene Christian win. No, I'm just kidding. I think that without starting the roster, I think Tech rolls that one. I mean, I we
Yeah.
should. If we don't, then we've got issues.
Okay. Okay.
That game shouldn't even be close.
Okay, so 1-0. Second
Yeah.
one gets a lot more interesting. I know I have a friend down in Ecuador who's a big Washington State fan. It's two of Leach's, the two of the schools Coach Leach coached at. He had, in my opinion, he had definitely with wins and losses and winning percentage, he had more success at Tech. But he did a great job at Washington State. I think it was Pac-12 Coach of the Year once or twice. So he did a great job up there too. But this is an interesting game just because Washington State's in a conference of two teams. I mean, it's really strange times. But it's up there in Pullman. I know that they've over the years they've had some good games there. I don't know much about Washington State yet other than what I've heard from my friend. But what do you think? What do you think is going to happen in that game?
I see another win. I think we're good enough to beat them. Yeah, the Pac three, whatever conference they're in.
I think
I
it's
think a lot of
two.
their guys, Joe, is it two? The
Yeah,
Pac two. I think a lot of their guys hit the transfer portal at the end of last year, but I don't know for certain. I think they had a massive roster turnover. I think we're going to roll that one, or at least win comfortably. I think that they give us little to no threat at all.
Interesting. We got one of their best receivers. I know he transferred to Tech. Or he was definitely a productive receiver for them. All right, so then we're going to go to the team from my hometown. Had I not decided to travel to Colombia and then Brazil the first of next year, I probably would have tried to go to this game. But North Texas comes to town in Lubbock. They've got Eric Morris, our former wide receiver. Traditionally, they've given us some. They've beaten us in Lubbock a couple times. If you go back a little bit, back to our era, and then they just it kind of reeks of a trap type game. So I'd be interested to hear what you think on that one.
I don't typically like to compare what I saw a year ago, but I ended up going to a North Texas Memphis game last year in November, I think it was.
Was it
Don't
in
quote.
Denton
It was
at
in
the
Denton.
Apogee?
It was in Denton with some friends that were North Texas grads. And what I saw was a North Texas team that got down big early and then clawed all the way back. They showed a lot of grit. They fought hard, and then they lost in like the last minute of the game. But they were down big, but they fought and scrapped. And I thought, this team, they could be tricky. And it wouldn't surprise me, Eric Morris coaching them. I think we'll still beat them, but I'll be like Lee Corso. It'll be a lot closer than the experts realize.
All right. So you got them 3-0 so
3-0.
far.
I think we're 3-0.
All of those are home games, and the next one is no. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Washington State's on the road.
Two home, one away,
So
right?
okay,
Yep.
so two, yeah. Okay, so now we're back to another home game. Arizona State comes to town. I think that they have a second year head coach. They're one of the new teams. I've been out to a game at Sun Devil Stadium. I had a lot of fun. I love that campus. But anyway, what do you think on this game? This is not a team that we're ultra familiar with. At least I don't think so. Either one of us.
Seems like they beat us in all the past times we played, but I think that's going to change this time too.
We
That's a
got we got them once in. I think we lost to both the Arizona schools out there. That we played them during the Wells era, but then I think we beat both of them in Lubbock.
We played them during. I remember one of the games against them with Mahomes and Kingsbury as coach, and it was the worst defense I've ever seen
I
in
was
a
at that
football.
game. Yeah, I was at that
You know,
game. Yeah,
and that
we
guy
had like
had like 8 rushing touchdowns against us, and it was like
yeah,
66-56 in the fourth quarter. Never seen anything
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, it was a wild game. That campus was electric. It was kind of an exciting game because there's so much scoring going on, but we just couldn't keep track with the track. I mean, we couldn't stay out, with them in the track meet, and our defense was just appalling bad at that time. What do you think's gonna happen with this one? Since they're not picked high in many of the Big
It's
12.
win. I think we're 4-0 to start the season. I do.
Okay. All right. So then now we have Cincinnati coming to Lubbock the next week. We have 8 home games this year.
Dude, go hug Kirby Hocutt, man, for pulling that out somehow. Cincinnati was absolutely horrendous last year. I think they went like 3-9, 4-8. And what has changed? So I'm gonna say it right now. 5-0.
5-0. Okay. They do. I did see a headline today. I think it's the Big 12 Media Day where the Cincinnati coach was raving about how they have so many returning starters on the offensive and defensive line, but that may not be a good thing. I don't know. And they've had the recent coaching change and all that. Now this one starts to get a little more interesting. Then we go on the road to Arizona. They've got a new coach, but they're picked pretty high in a lot of the preseason polls and stuff.
I think that's the first loss of the season.
Okay, so you got them starting off 5-1.
They're tough. Arizona's tough. They had a good season last year, and I think they do bring back a lot of the guys. Although I don't know who hit the portal. That coach
Yeah.
left to be the coach at Washington too, but they were tough last year.
Okay. Well, we'll have some time before the next one to go through some of these rosters. Then we have a bye, and then we get Baylor in Lubbock.
That's a win.
Okay. All
That
right.
barely hung on. I don't think there's not a whole lot that's going to be different from them
All
this
right.
year.
So you got 6-1 start.
And yeah, I certainly hope that's the case.
All right. Then the next week we've got we play TCU down in Fort Worth.
I think that's probably a loss in Fort Worth.
Okay. Then we go to Ames. It's going to be November. It could be cold. Probably will be. I don't know.
Iowa State, huh?
Iowa State in Ames,
Uh,
November 2nd.
they're always tough, man. That coach is a good one. I would say that's probably a loss.
Okay. So now we're at what do you have them? So you have
Six and
one,
three.
two, what's it, 6-3?
I have them at 6-3 right now.
Okay, so this is a big. The next one's a game that everybody's talking about. I saw the Don Williams and the Lubbock Avalanche Journal ran a poll. The game that the Tech fans are most looking forward to, and this one won. I didn't vote for it. I actually voted for the TCU game, but Colorado in Lubbock, November 9th. What do you think happens there?
I think that's going to be an electric environment, and I think Colorado could be the better team, but we're going to beat them in Lubbock at night.
Okay, yeah, yeah. The night
Not
game
sold on
could.
Dion, and I'm not sold on his kid being the number one Q. I've seen projections of his kid being the number one QB off the board, and I'm like, I don't see it, but I'm whatever.
All right. So what do you have them now? What do you have them now?
Seven
You have
that puts us at 7-3 right now.
okay. Then we go to Stillwater. We have
That's a
a bye. We have a bye, and they don't. I think they do not, and we do have a bye going into that game.
Tell you what, let's do this. If Alan Bowman is the quarterback for Oklahoma State, we will be 8-3, not 7-4.
Do you think we'll go into Stillwater and win?
Yes,
Okay.
Alan Bowman.
Um, Yeah, you have a right to change your mind once you study this stuff a little more. If you want, you might not. You might even change some of these losses to wins if you look at the rosters more. Then the last game of the year, they have not won in Lubbock in a while, I don't think. West Virginia comes to Lubbock, the last game of the year. Yeah, the regular season game of the year.
West Virginia didn't we? I guess we did play them last year in
Yeah,
Morgantown.
kind
I'm
of a
gonna,
brutal loss.
you know what, man? I'm gonna take that. We're gonna be pissed off after the garbage we put out against them last year. Just being frank, we're gonna win that
Okay.
game too, and we're gonna be sitting at 9-3.
Okay, so I actually have the same record prediction right now, but different games. So I'm going to start with Abilene Christian. I think Tech can go into that game with a really limited playbook on both sides of the ball. I think you can run up a lot of good stats for Taj Brooks and Cameron Valdez, get them going. I think that Kitley will kind of limit the playbook and keep it simple, and probably similar on defense. I don't see them as a serious threat. I think the game in Pullman could be a tough one. I think they're pretty decent. And then like what happened when we played in Wyoming. Hopefully something like that doesn't happen again. I'm going to go ahead and say Tech wins that game, but I think that game will be a little bit of a scare. Maybe Tech kind of pulls away in the fourth quarter, but that's going to be a tough game. I think because of I'm predicting kind of a scare in Pullman. I think that Tech will kind of wake up and take care of business against North Texas, but that is a trap game. If North Texas played Tech before he went to Pullman and played like a tough road game, then I could see it. I could see it being even more of a trap game. The other thing is, I don't think Tech's particularly afraid of Arizona State, so they're not really looking ahead because they don't have a really rough game for a few weeks. So I'm going to go ahead preliminary. In a preliminary pick, I'll go ahead and take Tech, holding on against North Texas, maybe. I don't know that they'll blow them out, but I think they'll win that game. I like Tech beating Arizona State, so I'm starting off the same as you with one, two, three, 4 wins. I think we'll beat Cincinnati. So that's five in a row. I also believe we will lose to Arizona. Um, I just it's a road game. They're a good team. The only thing is if they have some chemistry issues with the new coach, but I think that's going to be a tough one to win. I also agree on Baylor. So what have I got them? I've got them one, two, three, four, five, 5-1, just like you. Then I'm going to go 6-1. I think we'll beat Baylor. I don't think their experiment with a new defensive coordinator and Aranda. I just think that they've lost too much momentum. This is the first one where I'm going to differ from you. I actually think we will go down to Fort Worth and beat TCU in a really good game. I just that when they made the national title game, had they kept that respectable, or even like kept it within like 20 points or something. But I think TCU's in a bit of a bind. I mean, because they've kind of taken a little bit of a nosedive since that national title game. I heard Sonny Dykes say that this is the deepest team he's ever coached. I don't know. I don't know on that. I'll look at their roster a little more. So what do I got them now? I've got them one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 7-1. I'm going to disagree on Iowa State. For some reason, because we've got the two good running backs, and assuming the offensive line stays healthy, for some reason, I think we can go up there and win a really tough game. So what's that? I got them at 8-1 now. Um, Colorado, I got to study with it more of what they did in the transfer for portal, but I suspect they're going to take a step up. The interesting thing about this is there's a lot of connections between Joey McGuire and Deion Sanders because they both coached in Cedar Hill, the high school level. Different schools, but there's some connections there. I don't understand all of it. I could see Colorado just for today. I reserve the right to change my mind because I got to see more of what they did with offensive and defensive linemen in the portal. But I'm gonna go ahead and pick Colorado upsets us in Lubbock. I think the Iowa State game will kind of leave it all on the field, and we do not have a bye going into the Colorado game, so that's going to be kind of like the one disappointment on the road, but then the plus, sort of the plus game on the road. I mean, that's going to be the disappointment at home, and then the upset on the road. I think is going to be the Iowa State game. So then I've got, I think Tech will lose in Stillwater, and that'll be a tough game. But I think we'll lose, and then I think we will beat West Virginia. I believe so. I have my three losses as Colorado, West Virginia, and no, I'm sorry, Colorado, Oklahoma State, and Arizona. So
Uh,
I also have nine. I also have 9-3. But some of this could change as I read more. I'm sure some of yours could change
oh,
too.
it will. It'll definitely
Yeah,
change. I know I go by our history on the road versus at home, and I have less confidence when we're on the road. You know.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I have the two out of the three losses on the road. I think we'll go. I think we'll go 7-1 at home, and then we'll go 500 on what is it 500 on the road. Who are we going to else are going to beat on the road? I think we're going to beat Iowa State on the road, and I think we're going to beat Washington State on the road, and then lose to Oklahoma State on the road and Arizona on the road. So yeah, 9-3.
Yeah, I mean 9-3 would be a great season for us. It really
Yeah,
would.
well, it
When's the
definitely
last time we
would.
won 9 games? How long's it been?
I'm sorry.
How long's it been since we won 9 games?
It was the Leach. Well, that included a bowl game, I think. When Graham Harrell won the 2007 bowl down in Florida when we beat Virginia, but I think that included a bowl game, so we could get to 10 with a bowl win. And who knows? who knows how the conference is going to play out. I mean, 9-3. If you have the right wins, you might even sneak into the title game. Yeah, maybe
Could
it's
happen.
possible. It's not impossible. So 16 team conference. So there's definitely going to be a lot of upsets and stuff. It's going to be exciting season.
It's gonna be interesting. I can't wait to see it because you and I both know there's gonna be teams that look like they should be terrible and then they come out and play very well and they're actually really good.
Oh yeah. I think it's really hard to predict the Big 12 this year. Really hard. I do like our team. The transfers on the offensive line scare me a little bit. They could be really good, but we were definitely sold that a lot of the transfers last year are going to be really good, and they were okay at times. But if you could get that line going with those two running backs coming back, that could be a really good combination. I was looking at we got some pretty good depth on defense. There's some new faces on the defensive front, but we have some really good linebackers. And then I read an interview with Kitley where he says that talking about because they've been playing against the in practice they've been going against the Tech secondary, and he says our secondary is really good. So we'll learn more though in the weeks ahead, and we'll have additional predictions and that kind of thing. But I just kind of wanted to get like a way too early preliminary one on the board. All right, my friend. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, but I'd love to have a 9-3 season.
That'd be awesome. Well, maybe we'll add or subtract depending on a little more research on some of the opposition teams.
Totally
All
agree.
right,
All right.
enjoyed it. Have a good night.
Why it's good seeing you, bud.
All right, good seeing you too.